In a healthcare world drowning in data, how do you stay compliant without losing control? If you're struggling to turn data chaos into compliance clarity, keep watching to see how IBM StreamSets can help. If a compliance officer needed to know who accessed a patient's record last Tuesday, could your hospital find the answer in seconds, or would it be lost in the dark? Let's set the scene. A typical hospital in an average town. And every day, thousands of hospital staff log in and open patient records and move on with their work. Some are billing specialists, some are doctors, some are interns, and sometimes access happens that shouldn't. The hospital's compliance policy is to upload the access logs from the electronic health records to an SFTP server for reporting. These raw access logs, dumped daily from the hospital's EHR system, are messy, inconsistent, and isolated. If a compliance officer needs to investigate who accessed a sensitive record in real time, good luck. There's no context, no alerts, no audit trail, just raw data sitting in the dark. Luckily, the hospital has a way out of this mess using IBM StreamSets. The data engineering team can transform these isolated log files into a compliance solution using real-time pipelines with alerting. To stay compliant with regulatory requirements for electronic health record audit logs, the solution will consolidate, transform, and store these logs into secure cloud object storage. Next, we'll bridge HR and IT data silos by modifying the pipeline to enrich the audit logs with employee metadata. Finally, we'll implement logic to detect potential regulatory violations in real time and route those flagged records to a dashboard for immediate visibility and investigation. In doing so, we'll help reduce organizational risk by enabling faster response to improper access before it becomes a compliance incident. So, what does the solution look like? A collection of EHR audit logs from the hospital are stored on an SFTP server. These logs, which get uploaded throughout the day, take the form of comma-separated value files. StreamSets will ingest, parse, and merge them before writing them to Amazon S3, which is a versioned, durable cloud object store. We'll branch our pipeline and enrich the audit logs with employee metadata stored in a Postgres database. From there, we will implement business rules that flag potential HIPAA violations, like when former employees improperly access sensitive data. We'll send this information to Elasticsearch, where dashboards will enable alerting and remediation. Let's jump into StreamSets and build a solution. This pipeline will be named Audit Logs to S3. We are dealing with CSV files stored in SFTP, so we'll add our SFTP client origin to get started. We have pre-created a connection to this SFTP server, which we will select, and we only need to click one more checkbox here to process the subdirectories under which we know that these logs exist. Switching to the Data Format tab. We know our records are CSVs, so we select Delimited. Our CSV file comes with a header line in the beginning of the file. We'll select with header line here. Let's check our work and run a preview. We see that this file has been properly parsed. We see timestamps, a user ID, action, and record type. However, not everything is correct. In Record 7, there is a problem in how this record is being parsed. The sensitive field access value is a list of strings, but in this pipeline it's being interpreted as solely a string. So to clean this up, we want to pretend that this is basically a JSON nested field. Let's close the preview and fix the issue. We add the JSON parser to make it easier for this field to be properly interpreted. We indicate this sensitive field accessed as the field that we want to parse, and we'll name our target field as the same name. A data preview shows us the effect of adding this processor. The sensitive fields accessed field in our record now appears as a list of strings. When we access Record 7, we see that this list has 2 entries and our data is now in a usable format. All the data cleanup in this hierarchical file is complete, so we can select our Amazon S3 destination to write this selection of EHR audit logs to S3. We'll use the pre-created connection. We'll add the name of the bucket and then choose the JSON data format. Starting the pipeline, we'll begin the processing of records. Notice that the Amazon S3 bucket is currently empty. Going back to StreamSets, we see a 500-line CSV file was processed, and the pipeline continues to run. Switching back to S3, you see a new object was created, and we can validate the result by querying with S3 select. And we see the expected results as a properly formatted hierarchical JSON file that's semi-structured. So now that we've verified this work, let's stop our pipeline. So far, our pipeline has just moved data, but now we want to extend the pipeline to provide real-time visibility into these audit logs. As records are dropped in by various providers throughout the day, we need to know if they contain concerning events like HIPAA violations. To understand the possible violations, we'll start by first enriching the audit log with details about the users accessing the various electronic health records. We're going to add details about their name, their role, and their employment status. To do this, we'll add a processor called the JDBC lookup processor and drop it on a separate branch and connect it. I'll use my pre-created Postgres connection, and we'll query 3 entries from this database for every record: the full name, the role, and the employment status of our users from this user metadata table in Postgres. Now, we need to implement a rule for inactive user access. To do this, we'll add one final processor called the expression evaluator. This stage will create a new output field in the record called active user access. The field expression will do a basic comparison to whether the record value is active or not. So, if this is active, it will be marked as true. If it's inactive, it will be marked as false. A quick preview shows us that we now have an employment status field, which is called active, and in this case, because it is active user access is set as true. The final destination for this data is Elasticsearch. A few quick configurations to select the pre-built connection. Update the index field, update the mapping field, and we are finished. Our pipeline is ready to run. Note that as soon as it begins running, no new data is flowing. Nothing new has been generated in S3 either. The reason for that is because StreamSets manages the offsets of the various files that it's handling in the stream to avoid reprocessing existing files and duplicating data. Before we drop a new file into the stream, let's look at the Elasticsearch dashboard, which keeps track not only of the total number of audit log entries that we see, but also potential violations. One violation being tracked is inactive user access, which we are processing in our pipeline. Tracking other violations is possible, such as users trying to access these logs outside of working hours. Jumping back to StreamSets, a second file of audit logs has been dropped on the SFTP server and it's processed immediately. 500 new records have been processed, and going back to the Amazon S3, a refresh of the page shows a new file has just been written 4 minutes after the first. Switching over to Kibana, we see these 500 records have now been interpreted, and you notice that one of them has been flagged as providing inactive user access. If we double-click into this record, we see the reason this has been flagged. On May 8, 2025, a particular user accessed some lab results. We see their IP address and a lot of other details, but we notice that this employee's status is terminated. This former employee named Nicholas here tried to access a record while being terminated, and we need to follow up and investigate this incident immediately. As long as this pipeline continues to run, we'll receive real-time information about potential HIPAA violations and be able to react in the moment to reduce our risk of non-compliance. In just a few minutes, we turn raw EHR access logs into a secure, enriched, policy-aware audit trail using IBM StreamSets. No more dark data, no more compliance panic, just clarity, control, and confidence. Would you like to see how IBM StreamSets can bring clarity to your compliance chaos? Contact us today to book a live demo or get a free trial so you can build this yourself. If you want the full technical specifications of the pipeline solution we built, please download the white paper here. Thank you for watching.